Granite is an extremely durable type of tile. It can take a lot of abuse. It does have a nice gloss over it, but you do need to seal it. As opposed to the ceramic and the porcelain, you don't need to seal the tile. And we get into the sealing closer towards the end of what that means and what that's all about. But right now, with this tile, if you put water on it, believe it or not, it'll actually soak into it. And it goes a whole lot darker, and you don't want to have that in any place that you're going to have a lot of water unless you're going to seal it properly. I did this in my bathroom, and I've just been waiting for it to set properly, the grout, before I sealed it, and then once I do, then it's going to have that waterproof finish on it, and then I won't have to worry about it anymore. Because you don't want to seal the grout or seal the tile right after. Once again, get into that later. But with this tile, you can use this in many different spots. Just like with the ceramic and the porcelain tile, you can use them pretty much anywhere. There isn't any spots that you shouldn't use. With the granite, there's definitely spots you should and shouldn't use. Don't use a tile like this in, say, a front walkway where you first walk in with shoes. It is quite scratch resistant, but not as good as the other two. But in a place like a bathroom, just looks great, just looks gorgeous. And if you want to do even a countertop, and a countertop, though it sounds like, well, you know, it's completely different. It's basically a floor just brought up onto a counter. That's the general rule. There are more things to it than that. You need to worry about nosing and that kind of thing. But for now, we're just showing you how to do floors. We want to keep it simple, and that's what I recommend you start with. Anything else is a bit more advanced and a bit harder to learn. And so that's why we have started with the floors. So this is a great bathroom tile. It looks fantastic. I've seen it done in the kitchen. That also looks just fantastic and comes out really nice. So the cost is a little higher, like porcelain, but with granite, you don't need to buy a high-end to get a good quality. This one here, I believe I paid about $3 for. So each piece was $3, and you know that can add up over a bigger room, but fortunately my bathroom's not that large, so it didn't end up costing that much. And generally speaking, your quality is good, or even at the lower end. Quite easy to clean due to the shiny surface, and like I said, very, very durable. Works great. So that is my personal favorite, so I might be pushing it a little more. But you decide what you want and what works for your application. Now for troweling, you want to go with the 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. And trust me on this one, I learned the hard way. When I did my bathroom, I thought, you know, I'd been told that, and I thought, well, I think I can do the 1/4 inch by 3/8 trowel. And I got halfway done, and it did not work. It frustrated me. I couldn't get them level. There just wasn't enough play. And so, long story short, I ended up ripping out, added a lot more time to the job. Lesson well learned, and I'm glad I can pass it off to you so you don't have to do the same thing. And in the end, I ended up using the 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. Cutting tools with this, you're back to your wet tile saw or your angle grinder. The angle grinder works great with this kind of tile. It cuts through it really, really, really nice. Your spacing, now this is where things change. Your grout spacing. You don't want to leave anything more than an 1/8 inch. Now, even when I say 1/8 inch, I highly recommend, and this is what's told out there, is 1/16 of an inch, which is quite small, and most people don't even really know what that is. It's basically a 1/2 of an 1/8. And if an 1/8 confuses you too, we'll get into that later on. We'll help you out with how to figure out your measurements on a tape measure, and we'll make sure you understand it. And now with this, you don't use your regular mortar. The regular mortar is always a gray, and it's sometimes darker, sometimes lighter, but in the end, it's just a gray. What you want to do is buy a white mortar. So you want to go in and just say, I need mortar specifically for that, for either granite or marble, and they'll give you, if they don't give you a white one, there's something wrong, they don't know what they're doing. Make sure you tell them I need a white mortar. It is a little bit more difficult to lay due to the fact of the weight, the sheer weight, and once again, you need a very flat surface. So your subfloor needs to be flat, and we'll talk about what subfloors are and that kind of idea later on. So when you lay this, make sure that you have them really flat inside when they're right beside each other, that you can basically take your hand, go across it, and you don't have to worry about, you don't feel any bumps, because you'll really feel it with this.